So I wanted to follow up on the short that I did yesterday about dedications. I want to go a little bit further with that with some research uh, in regards to like culturally responsive instruction. So I wanted to reference my book, uh, The Struggles of Minority English Learners, um, and kind of go a little bit further uh, about that. So, culturally responsive instruction is noted as an important part of the learning process for EL students. Although 60% of the students reported their teachers made connections with their cultures, others did not. Many cited teachers using Spanish to create connections, such as the participant who said her teacher talks in Spanish like all the time. However, culturally responsive instruction should go beyond mere language to include cultural reference to which students are connected. Culturally responsive instruction is connected to Egan's third stage of imaginative education, the romantic stage. This stage involves emotional connection to learning. For these students, using culturally responsive literature, materials, or narratives connects students to emotional interest to their learning materials. So, uh, in terms of starting your first week of school with a dedication, uh, if you're dealing with multilingual students, you can have them do the dedication in their home language, in Spanish, Arabic, uh, French, whatever the language is, and then they can go on to make an emotional connection to whomever they're dedicating. Uh, they're doing a dedication to. I think it's important to have students help them start connecting with content in their home language at the beginning of the year. Um, Obviously, you're not starting with content like the first week of school because of all the changing schedules and whatnot, but you're at least having them start, you know, getting connected with someone that they highly respect, right? I mentioned my dad, um, that I'm going to use the example of my dad dedicating my life to him, right? He really did support education, everything that it entails. And anytime any one of his kids, pursued a higher degree, whether it's a master's, a bachelor's, PhD, whatever, he really supported that. So, but you can have them do it in their home language and have them connect with it in a way that's, personal to them. And it can help start getting them, when you start with the content that you're teaching them, you can help them start connecting with that content on an emotional level, because a lot of the research says kids learn when there is an emotional connection to something, right? So if you're teaching them a poem, there's a lot of ways you can help students connect with that poem emotionally. If you're teaching them math, you can kind of get them to start thinking about math emotionally. You can put them in a scenario where math is involved, where, you can help them calculate something, right? If they're part of some sort of, team, science team, or engineering firm, and they're dealing with a situation where, you know, they're building something and they're on a time limit and they need to figure something out with math, computations, they're going to have to think fast, right? Whatever it is, you want to make sure that that emotional connection is intact. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of follow up on that. By the way, it's on page 72, that section. There's a lot more that I'm going to cite from this book because I think it's a great way to sort of, introduce content to my audience, but in a way that's relatable. I'm hoping that it's as relatable as possible. Anyway, that's all for now. Have a wonderful week. Have a great first week, whatever you decide to do as your first week activity. Have a great first week, and we'll talk later.